Okay, today's lesson is on domain and range of quadratic functions given an equation. Make sure you put your name and your date on your work so you know when you took notes on this. All right. Determine the domain and range for each equation. Record your answers on the answer document. When you're given an equation and y equals, you want to press y equals on your calculator so you can model a picture of this equation. So let's do that now. Press y equals. First, you want to press second plus 712. Reset your calculator. Press y equals. Then here you're going to put 2x squared minus 8x plus 7. And you want to graph it so you know what it looks like. Here is our graph. So we see that in this equation, there are no other parameters given to us. So all we need to do is determine what the domain is. We know that this goes on and on. If I was to make my x value 20 and my y maximum value 20, and I graph it, I can still see that my graph keeps moving on and getting wider. So the domain in this case is x is all real numbers. All right. So using words is that the domain is all real numbers. For the range, notice that it's going upward. So whenever we have a graph that's like this, it's going to be y is greater than or equal to. Always know that. So there is only one boundary, and that is the bottom. This top boundary keeps going on and on forever. So we have to determine what this vertex point is. The way you do that is you have your equation 2x squared minus 8x plus 7. This is modeled ax squared plus bx plus c, where we can see that our a value is equal to 2, our b value is a negative 8, and our c value is 7. The c value is always the y-intercept. That's just a little information, but we can use these values here to determine the x value of the vertex. So that's going to be a negative b divided by 2 times a. This formula can be found on your formula chart. It is the axis of symmetry formula. So this is the x value of the vertex, and once we find the vertex, then we can determine the range. So let's determine a vertex. So I'm going to write my information down here. So I know that x equals the negative of b divided by 2a. So just substitute the values. B is 2. So negative of 2 divided by 2 times the a value. I did that wrong. B is a negative 8. So let's erase that and put a negative 8. See, teachers make mistakes too. The b value is negative 8. That goes here in the place of the v. And the a value is 2. Right? A negative of a negative. Even if you don't know how to do this, use your calculator to help you with this calculation. Alpha y equals, enter. We put a negative, open parentheses, negative 8, all divided by 2, open parentheses, 2, then multiplied by each other. When I do that, my answer is 2. So the x value of my vertex is 2. So we're looking for our vertex. The x value is 2. What's the y value? In order to find the y value, we press, you know that our equation is here in y equals. Press second window, and put 2 here at table start, and press second graph. our y value is a -1. So once we find the axis of symmetry, we can find the vertex. So how did I find this number? Make sure my equation is in y equals. Then I press second window. And at table start, I put the value 2. Then I press second graph to see what the y value is. Right? That's exactly what I did. So write that down. So now that I know my vertex is at a -1, and I also know that it's going to be greater than, the range is y is greater than or equal to a -1. What is that in words? All real numbers greater than or equal to -1. That's my answer. Let's review. The first step is you're given an equation. You press y equals. Okay. Then you press graph so you can see a picture. We saw our picture look like this. It opened up. I see my a value is positive, so I know it opens upward. The x, it continues on and on, so we said the x is all real numbers, and we wrote it in words, all real numbers. How do we get this -1? Well, looking at our graph, we see that it's open upward, and I can press trace and try to move down here and figure out what that value is. But to be more accurate, I simply use the equation to find the value of a is 2, b is a -8, and c is 7. C is simply the y-intercept, but the a and b will help me find the axis of symmetry. The axis of symmetry divides my graph in half, so that's part of my vertex. So when I find my axis of symmetry, I put negative of b. B was a -8, and 2 times a. The a value was 2. I found it to be 2. So my x value of my vertex is 2. My y value, I use my value from the x to determine it. So I went to y equals, made sure my equation was there. Then I press second window. I place the value 2 here at table start and press enter. Then I press second graph. And I see my value of x is a -1. So that's my value of x for the vertex. So that's my very minimum value is a -1. And my range is y is greater than or equal to a -1, because when it's like this, is a minimum. All right. Now we're going to do a real world problem. James kicks a soccer ball.